Affirmative speaking times need to be reduced in order for all requests to be heard. The blue speaker request cards can be found in the vestibule and turned into the clerk. Nobody's listening.
I just thought the draft.
Yeah, well, we're all.
You'd hang in there about a minute or two. We'll get started. I apologize for the wait. Deputy Clerk Valdez. Is Judy joining us remotely? Is that okay? Shall we wait a few moments then?
I'm on.
Oh, she is here. Okay. Hi, Judy.
Hi. I'm watching you guys.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. If you don't mind. All right. Good down there, Don? Okay. Sorry, it's a little hectic. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:32. Citizens who have requested to address the council will be called on at the appropriate time to make your comments. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor Schwartz. All council member are present. And Deputy Mayor Madewell is remote.
Thank you, Tamara. Okay, at this time, Mark, would you mind leading us on the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Does any council member wish to move any consent agenda items to a business item for individual discussion and vote? We have a couple. Councilmember Martinez.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to, if I can get my glasses to work. Item D, but it's really only just the shopping cart, portion of that
Mhm.
ordinance. So chapter 8, I think it is 8.06. I'd like to pull off the consent agenda, please.
Okay. Item D. Anyone else?
Yeah, me.
Mr. Fancher?
I just, item H, purchasing policy revisions, resolution 4016. And I had talked to Madeline about making a small presentation on that for us.
Okay, that's item H. All right. I would accept a motion to accept or approve the agenda with those two items pulled for individual discussion.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, okay, we will now go into an executive session for no longer than 20 minutes, at which point we will return Okay, we will reconvene in the meeting. The time is now 6:54.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager to terminate our sleep center property lease with the owner and to pay the final balance on that lease.
I'll
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, next up, we have a presentation. This is for Medical Services Officer Todd Shaughnessy. And Assistant Fire Chief Beach is here for this presentation.
Over, Todd. Right there. All right. Mayor and council and citizens, tonight I'd like to present MSO Todd Shaughnessy, rank of battalion chief. He's served the Moses Lake Fire Department since February 2004. His last day will be July 31st of this year. So a little over 21 years of service for the city. He became medical service officer on a temporary basis years ago, but went officially into the day shift position of that 2019. And so I just want to go over a little bit of the things he's done for the city ambulance service over the last 20 years. Short list for the 20 years. He started quite a few programs that has helped the ambulance have some sustainability. We have a program for inventory management, and with that is a vending machine, obviously, and then the computer software side of it, and that's helped inventory supplies not continue to walk out the door. People are not stocking ambulances over stuff and stuff going outdated. So we're keeping the stock, what we need to operate, not grossly overstocking the medic units. Cardiac monitors got us into a new system that allows us to do the 12 leads and communicate that to the hospital from the field and do all kinds of medical monitoring. I think each of those run about 80,000. Yeah, around that. Yeah. About $80,000 a piece. So obviously they do a few items for us. We went to ESO, electronic medical records. Again, that just helps the billing process of it, having a good computer program for our charts. Helped us get in with system designs for ambulance billing, again, helping us get as much back as we can from our ambulance bills. The GEMT, which again is the ground emergency medical transport piece that brings our rates back up to what it has cost, not just what Medicaid or Medicare will pay for us. Standardization is the ambulance fleet, so getting the units to all be the same. So when the crews are out there at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not like, what unit am I in? They know where the things are at and able to go. Some employee safety systems as far as load systems and electric gurneys. So again, not the old 2-person gurneys that we're picking up with our backs. We've actually got machines now that will do that and help the back injuries and L&I claims. It's been on several state EMS committees. That was one of the requests of one of the former city managers, was to get more involved at the state level in EMS, and Todd's been on several committees to put City Moses Lake on the map for EMS stuff. HIPAA compliance program. So again, making sure that our records are fine and we're staying safe from getting lawsuits for medical data being out in a breach. And established and written many OTEP programs for the ongoing training for the EMS and the ambulance. Wrote the first ALS OTEP in Grant County back in 2005. So he's done a few things for us in the last 20 years, and I will wish him happy retirement, and we'll carry it from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we'll have citizens' communications. The council values free expression of all points of view as an important democratic process. Each person is allowed a maximum of 5 minutes. When you are called to speak, please begin by stating your name and city of residence for the record, and please try to refrain from comments or applause or other disruptions from the audience. Thank you. This evening, first up, we have Mr. Joseph Moriarty.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council Administration. Over the last few weeks since the closure of the Sleep Center, I've had a chance to engage several of those at the park. And there was a segment that relied on that emergency shelter that didn't quite fit the mold, where they're either handicapped or disabled, or they didn't generate enough resources to be able to accommodate housing. And so they were sleeping at the park. Two of these individuals were really disabled. One happened to be a 65-year-old. She was living in Quincy, had some issues. Renew picked her up and brought her to the Sleep Center several weeks before the closure. And then when it closed, she asked me, well, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? Is there any kind of emergency place? And I'm like, actually, there's not. And she had a caseworker with Renew, but there was a gap in resources to come in for her, which was 7 to 12 days. So she was in the park during the day, and then at night she'd wheel herself over to some business and sleep in the alleyway. And I thought, if there's gaps in the system, I don't know who to reach out to maybe find a place for her. And that's what I wanted to bring up tonight. Maybe I could be informed with Liz and some other options regarding resources for those that just kind of slip through the gap. And that's what I'd like to hopefully target. Some other challenges, obviously, stability for those that are in kind of crisis mode. There hasn't been too many protests or plans to cause chaos, which is great. I think the transition has been a healthy one. I believe the policies with the police department has been very merciful, firm, but merciful. And I'm grateful for that. But there's that moving forward. Other individuals who may find themselves in a crisis mode, I'd like to know what the plans would be to address that, especially if they're disabled and stuck like Minnie was in the alley. Was there any questions?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. And the only other speaker this evening we have is Mr. Dan Levitt. I'm sorry, what's that? Okay, sorry, I apologize, Dan. We'll just get on with it then. Next up, we have the consent agenda. And if you will recall, we did pull D and H for individual discussion. So all items listed are considered to be routine other than D and H, and will be enacted by one motion, which I will accept now.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, first up, we have item D. Councilmember Martinez.
Yes, thank you. Excuse me. I'm going to end up coughing, I'm sure. So I apologize ahead of time. I have learned about a program. City of Everett happens to do this program. It's called, of course, the Shopping Cart Recovery Program. And it was brought to my attention by the government affairs gentleman for Walgreens, who I happen to know. He mentioned this recovery program that basically, well, it avoids penalizing the businesses while also encouraging them to contribute to some sort of community fund. Of course, it has to have a legal status, so that some group is picking up the shopping carts for these businesses that buy into this community program, community fund. And they get their carts. We get to clean up the city, not have shopping carts all over the place. And we get to earn some money for the city, for something in the community. So rather than do the Chapter 8, which basically penalizes the businesses, and I understand there are some businesses that probably could do a better job about rounding up their shopping carts. But there are also businesses that do the best they can, but can't afford the expensive security systems or hiring an extra person per se to go round up their shopping carts. So I'd like to explore this a little bit more to see if that's maybe an option that we could support here in Moses Lake.
Thank you, Deanna.
Mhm.
Councilmember Fancher.
Just a question, Deanna. I noticed that when I saw the Everett one that it went to, I think the ones that handle it were the volunteer fire or police department. My question is if we were, first of all, I don't know how we get involved in it, meaning the generation. I think it has to, that's driven by the retail association or whoever's doing that to generate it. And then I'm not sure, I mean, it would almost have to be removed from the city because I don't know how we distribute money to another. I don't know how we pass it through even.
Sorry, I'll try and answer that with the information I have. The money would not go to the city and then the city to disperse it. It would go to whatever this fund is. Say by chance the fire department benevolent fund or the police department Blue Bridget fund, or maybe something entirely different, but that it goes back to the community. It's not something that the city has any, is handling any of the money. So my proposal would be to, excuse me, to meet with the gentleman that's in charge of the program at Everett or in Everett. Jake Mason, of course, is part of the Retail Association, and he has his connections with the retail here in Moses Lake to see if maybe we can figure out a plan for that. So I'm asking for additional time before we decide formally on an ordinance.
Sorry. Councilmember Lombardi.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I believe I addressed something of this when we first started speaking about it, and I asked the question if we contacted the retailers at all, what some of their thoughts were. When I did an extensive survey of the retailers, and I think I mentioned this at the last meeting on this topic, when I proposed to them a recovery system for a small charge, it didn't respond very well. And that kind of shocked me considering the cost. And so I know Councilmember Myers talked about that in the past. The retailers were not very cooperative on that, right, Don? So, if the council wants a staff to reach out to the retailers, I'd be 100% in favor of that. I believe there's something in the middle at least that's available. And it's worth taking a look into. So just my thoughts on that.
Thank you, Victor. Councilmember Myers.
So I got two things to address Councilmember Martinez. I think that her idea or the idea she got from Everett could fall under the security measures portion of the ordinance, utilizing of a shopping cart patrol and retrieval company. So as long as that particular company has maybe contracted with the fire department volunteer group, they could form a group, then that business would be exempt from the fee of shopping cart retrieval. the main thing that I'm going after is, according to state law, to make it theft of a shopping cart illegal, we have to have an ordinance requiring signage on each cart that shows who it belongs to. Once we have that in place and we find somebody that has a shopping cart off of the premise, that person is now could be criminally charged for having that shopping cart. So there's twofold. We definitely need this. But I think we can address Councilmember Martinez concerns with the security measures. Basically in this ordinance, it just says, as long as they have any security measures deemed appropriate, that they are exempt from the fee. And I think that idea from Everett would fall under that portion.
Catherine, could you? Reasonable,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
I somewhat agree with Dawn that I think if this program were to be set up, then yes, it would fall under that part.
Yeah.
My question is, can we explore the idea of this program? Because businesses may not want to pay a fee to the city, but maybe they're willing to fund a community fund that goes back to helping out the community. So all I'm asking is for time. We'll still have a shopping cart ordinance. I just want some time to explore how we can best help the situation and get a win for the community as well.
Okay, Councilmember Scott?
I could see that there are a number of businesses that would be reluctant to take their carts back, not knowing the history of where the cart's been. However, I think if the boys wrestling team or the football team with a bunch of pickups would go around Saturday mornings and pick up carts and power wash them and bring them back to the place they came from for a donation to their athletic fund, I think they could solve two things. And if people didn't want to donate and it wasn't worth their time, then they'd quit doing it. Then we penalize them. So I think the boys or girls, they should get out there and do it.
Okay, pretty few ideas. We do need a motion at some point though, whether it's to just table or we can table this either way. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, would you make a motion on the other part then? How about that?
Yes.
So I would make a motion, so I still, I'm still gonna make a motion to adopt ordinance 3072, sleep, sit, lie, camping and shopping cart regulations. I believe after hearing what Don said and Catherine that I think we're okay. We can explore the other opportunity with Everett.
So you want to make sure that that
Yep.
verbiage is included. How did you phrase that, Don? I appreciated that. Appropriate.
That they would have an
measures or
agreement
whatever.
with a volunteer group to
Right.
Yeah,
It's already in
okay.
there.
retrieve their carts.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Deanna, do you have a comment before we?
Yeah, I have a comment because I'm a little confused. If we pass this ordinance, then there's fees and all that stuff until we put up a program, correct? I want to avoid that. I don't want to create yet another ordinance. I want to just table it for now. And while we work out the details of this program, it may not work for our city, but it may work for the city. But in the meantime, we're penalizing businesses that are doing the best they can to try and keep their shopping carts with their business because it's expensive. But there are those that can afford financially to have security tags on it, like Safeway. So I'm asking just to table 8.06, I think is that chapter.
Well, we do have another motion on the table. so-
And Mayor, just a point of order,
Yep.
I
There's a
don't remember
motion
there
on
was
the
a
table.
second.
Yeah.
There was no second.
We don't have a second.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second.
Just a quick comment. Could we add a delayed imposing the fee for maybe 30 days or however long? 60 days? We
I
just need
You
to amend
were
the
gonna
motion.
suggest,
May I
Victor.
speak?
Yes.
I think
Um,
at least 60 days because the gentleman
the-
from Everett, sorry,
It's
is gone for a
turn to
week.
speak, Deanna.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with Councilmember Myers. We can approve this and have a delaying of fees for 60 days. This is not any different than when we approve other ordinances, and police chief will often say we'll have a warning system in place for like the first 30 or 45 days. This would fall into the same precedent on that.
Councilmember Martinez.
Sorry, now I have my light on. Yes, it needs to be more of a delay because the gentleman that we would be meeting with is gone for vacation. So, that's going to delay us discussing with them how this program works. The other thing too is if I don't want to use the word threaten, but if there is an idea that there are going to be penalty fees, we might not have buy-in to help our community. So those are my concerns.
Okay, Don, did you still have something? I will remind everybody, we still do have a motion and a second on the table, so I'll need to call a vote on that first. No, the motion does not include the delay or any of that at this point.
Unless Mark wants to amend the motion.
Yeah, he can amend the motion.
Rob?
That's what I was about to say. You can, somebody can make a motion to amend the motion.
Okay,
Amend the motion.
let's go ahead and do that then, if you want to.
I would amend my motion and I would offer to allow the delay, what was it, the delay of the fees to be 90 days.
90.
So I believe there needs to be a second.
I'll
to the
second it.
amendment and a vote on the amendment.
Okay, all those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendment passes. Now we will move on to the motion as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion also passes, so. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to item H before we get more confused.
Congratulations, Mayor. You gave the city a little lesson in Robert's Rules of Order.
Definitely. Appreciate your help, Rob.
So just real quick, and I chatted with Robin and Madeline about this. Madeline, can you give a quick highlight of what changed and what this is really entails?
Yes, so recently the legislature, they repealed a section of the RCW with regard to limited public works. They repealed the entire limited public works and they replaced it with a small works roster. They changed some of the bidding and competition, the minimal competition process. They reevaluated and reframed that section of it. So this change is just to make sure that we're in compliance with the RCW the way that it now reads.
And just for more clarification, if you can't answer this, is the logic behind that most often just increased costs over time?
Yes.
They just raise
Yep,
that.
the threshold, yes, for those projects.
Okay. Councilmember Lombardi, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I
on
just
that?
had a question for Madeline. So I didn't necessarily have a disagreement when any of the changes. The only thing that I did have a question about was on the options to approve or amend. It said something about bring back options. So do we really have options, or it's either comply or not comply?
Basically, I mean, we really don't have a lot of options. We would be out of compliance with the RCW if we don't amend our purchasing policy, which could potentially lead to, findings for audit, that kind of thing. I can tell you also that we are talking about really reviewing our purchasing policy in total next year and really going through it to make sure that it is in compliance and that it works best for the city.
Okay, thank you for addressing that.
I'll just add that you can always be stricter than state law and have your thresholds be lower than state law. We're recommending that you match state law.
But it is lower at this point, for the record.
No, the state law states that up to $150,000, which used to be 116, and now they've increased that minimum threshold to 150.
But what is ours currently? 116.
No, the current one, yes, is 116.5. With this change, we're amending it to match the RCW.
150.
150.
Maybe I said that incorrectly, but 150 is bigger than 116.
Correct.
Okay.
My misunderstanding.
Okay, I don't know. All right. That good enough, Mark?
Yep.
Everybody else satisfied? Okay. I would accept the motion then.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution 4016, the purchase policy and revisions.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Madeline. All right, next up, we have old business already. Item number 2, which is the wastewater rate study presentation. And here to present this evening is the FCS Group Consultants, Ms. Angie Sanchez and Mr. Chase Bozet. I'm sorry, Chase.
Mayor, if I may, I just wanted to give a brief introduction.
Absolutely.
As you know, we started the water and wastewater rate study together. And as we got through that process, we decided that rather than combining the two projects together, the water rate study and the wastewater, it would be better to break them apart. So this evening, we're going to just present the wastewater rate study for you.
Thank you, Madeline.
Excellent. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor.